Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ignited Eagle. I'm your host, Phoenix Scott, partnering with the MSJC Studio Production Fall Class of 2023. With us today, we have Jamie Lee Musser, a transitional age youth advocate at the Welcome Home Youth Shelter, which focuses on supporting the LGBTQ+ community. Jamie, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Now, Jamie, can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do at Welcome Home?
Absolutely. So basically, we are trying to stop the cycle of homelessness, especially in the LGBT community, because that community has higher homeless rates than the rest of the average community.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's wonderful. Now, what sorts of resources do you at Welcome Home provide to those who are enrolled in your program?
So just to backtrack a little bit, to get in our program, it is part of the LGBT community, obviously. So everyone in-house is going to be queer. So we have queer housemates and staff on site. And it's about a 3 to 6 to 9 month program, give or take. So if anyone is homeless or at risk of being homeless, we take them into our program. And we have resources both in and outside the organization.
Wow. That is really fantastic that you guys can sort of offer that opportunity to people who are really in need, who are looking for support, especially during this time of year when so many are finding themselves out and in the cold. Now, why do you feel that it's necessary to have a shelter that really specializes in supporting the queer community?
Great question. So we are actually the first LGBT shelter in San Bernardino County, which is the biggest county in California. And we feel it's necessary because a lot of our clients, the situations that they've been in that led them to where they're at now, where they need to be in a transitional living program, is because often bullied by their own families, unfortunately, or in other shelter situations. I worked at a youth shelter actually before this job, and I saw a lot of people get bullied for, being themselves, being who they are. And I think it's really important for there to be a space dedicated to that community so that they can have space to grow and be themselves.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. Now, when you're thinking of Welcome Home, what are some advantages to that operation, at least when you're thinking about a more traditional shelter?
Right. So unlike most shelters, we actually have staff on site from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. So we actually have an office that's inside of the house, so clients can reach us at any time. We help take them to the grocery store. We teach them life skills. We do different groups. And it just really helps, I feel, to have us there and be present with them. And then, of course, we also help with gender-affirming care. That's kind of our specialty.
It's a big one. Yeah, wow, that's fantastic. Lots of very topical things, certainly, and it is fantastic to hear we have people who are looking out for those who really don't have that many looking out for them. I know they're feeling that super often. Now, do you think that the situation that people find themselves in, they're more similar than different, and we're looking at social backgrounds, economic backgrounds? Are you seeing patterns here? What are you noticing?
So unfortunately, the LGBT community are actually more susceptible to falling into things like human trafficking and domestic violence because of their identities. A lot of them are taken advantage of either by outside factors or even their own families sometimes. So it's something we see a lot with, and we have advocates on the outside that come in and assist our clients. Like if they're going through human trafficking, our shelter is a safe place. It's no one knows what the address is except for staff and housemates. Yeah. So they are safe, they have support. We have special advocates that specialize in that kind of thing that can come and meet them halfway and connect with them. And same thing with domestic violence. We also have domestic violence advocates as well that come and meet with the clients.
Wow, yeah. It really is amazing though that you do provide so much, considering that it's a smaller operation. Am I correct with that? It's not.
Yes.
And so you're able to provide a support line, a staff that can care for people, that can assist and it's all very much, it's welcome, it's opening, and I just think that's fantastic. I mean, have you encountered something in your work there that you feel that has had a personal impact on you in the day-to-day, seeing these, I mean, very severe, in some cases, situations, but of course, I'm sure it makes way for some grander things that you've encountered, some grander events that you've encountered in your life. So yeah, what can you give us, I guess, that you think about regularly in the day-to-day?
So I just want to say that I'm super inspired by my clients, especially since some of them come in with no documentation, sometimes just the clothes on their back. And when they leave, just seeing how much they evolve during their time with us. Especially, I think there's a lot to having their identities validated and being in a house that is just full of their community. And just kind of finding that kinship, it really, really helps someone get their grounding and realize who they are, which is an essential part of being a young adult, I feel, trying to navigate the space of
Absolutely.
being in the adult world,
Absolutely.
which we all know is very difficult.
Yes, yeah, certainly. At this time, a lot of youth in our generation, I feel like, and in the younger generations, it is tough for them right now. Expressing your identity, it's easy to come under attack. It's easy to feel like you need to be quiet or fit in with the system. And so I think that really is wonderful that you guys are looking out for that. You're noticing those things. And I mean, can you think of, or tell us maybe, if you're able to, of a personal story that has inspired you to continue your work with Welcome Home?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually had a client recently, only 18 years old, who came in and he started his testosterone journey, and he also got his name legally changed. And when this client first came in, he was very timid, quiet, and then just seeing those changes immediately, he just blossomed, and it was like he was a completely different person, looking at the world from a better point of view, and just seeing that total perspective change is something I love seeing with my clients. Definitely not the only one, but the most notable one I can think of.
Oh, yeah, that really is amazing. Now, can you tell me, are you working on anything in specific that you're really excited about, that you're really hopeful for, that you have a lot of ambition behind? Can you tell us about anything with that?
Yeah, so actually the Family Assistance Program, which Welcome Home is under, we are starting a campaign called Stop the Hate, where we are going to be out into the community, so different schools, nonprofits, talking about hate crime. And that's not just for the LGBT community, anyone who is a victim of hate crime, but Welcome Home, of course, is going to be on the front for the LGBT community. And we're going to be offering resources. We found LGBT-friendly therapists that are specialize in that kind of thing, that can meet with our clients for the first seven sessions for free. So it's actually really incredible. We just got that kickstarted about a couple months ago, and we're hoping to see it really blossom in January.
That is amazing. Now, where you're standing now and looking out ahead, what does the future look like for Welcome Home? Where are things headed?
Well, I think things are headed in a really great direction. We are actually the newest shelter in the Family Assistance Program. We've only been open for a year, and our anniversary is actually going to be on the 13th, so it's coming up very soon.
Wow, yeah, that's super soon.
Yeah, I feel like we've already really accomplished a lot, but I'm just really looking forward to the future because we're always finding new ideas, new ways to do things, because in our position, our job is what we make it, right?
Absolutely.
So whatever we feel as people we need to do for our people, we do. And we have a lot of really good and inspiring people on staff that I think are going to come up with some really great ways to help the youth.
Absolutely, yeah. And another question with that, your time here at Welcome Home, have you sort of noticed anything that you do think could be addressed more efficiently in our current system with how shelters support those in need, those who are at the bottom and really need a hand up? Are you noticing changes that you would like to be implemented across the board that you think Welcome Home is specializing in?
Absolutely. I think there needs to be more LGBT spaces like us, because when we're sending our clients off into another shelter, if that happens to be what they need at the time, it can be really difficult because we need to make sure that they're going to be in a space where they feel validated, where they're not going to be bullied or a victim of hate crime. And in a lot of shelter situations, there's, a lot of like blurred lines with like, if we have a transgender male, are they going to go to the male house, or do they have to go to the female house where obviously they're going to be really uncomfortable? And in some situations, they may be uncomfortable at both. So I really think that Welcome Home is a good middle ground for those kind of individuals, to have that space like just for them. So I would love to see more shelters like this open up in the future, because there are tons and tons of housing programs, for everybody, but I think it's really important for them to have their own space.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, that is absolutely true. Now, I'm wondering here, your work at Welcome Home, does that extend elsewhere in your life? Do you find that you're using those things, those tools that you have at that job, and spreading out further, be it with your community, with family, friends, and do you find those things to be helpful and push you forward in your life?
Absolutely. I think being an advocate really inspires you to be the same way in your own life. So, like, I know a lot about mental health now and how to navigate people who are in a crisis, a lot of crisis prevention, and of course that can happen in and outside of the shelter. So I like to think that being an advocate at my job has actually made me a better person in a way. I feel like I am better at talking to people. It's really strengthened my empathy for people, seeing where they come from, considering their different backgrounds and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and now working in that situation, I know you have a lot of personal, individual impact. Do you feel that you've seen or have at least lended to any opportunities for teaching others to be more tolerant, to be more accepting of those who are more often ignored or assumptions are made about them?
Absolutely. So actually our case manager, so my boss, goes out to different colleges and he has excellent presentations about using proper pronouns and offering resources to those who may be victims of hate crime, but also speaking to everybody and bringing the attention of like, hey, we all need to exist in the same space. Because while we find it really important to have, these individual spaces for the community, it would be beautiful if one day we could just all exist together, right? Like that is the main goal at the end of the day. So the more we can do to get out there and really inform people about what's going on, we hope to kind of, soften the lines and hopefully we see a future where we can just all exist.
Yeah, absolutely. That doesn't seem like too much to ask for, honestly. Now, do you see this sort of breakdown with people? Do you see those who are scared, confused? Do you see an effect taking hold of them in certain situations? Just as it relates to this, as it relates to your manager and things like that. Have you seen a firsthand, not a definitive, this is working, but are you noticing things? Are you noticing changes? People becoming more thoughtful, more tolerant, more caring in a little way?
Yeah, definitely. Because honestly, we interact with a lot of people who are in our company, and I think having us interact with them, like, gets them more or less used to the idea that this community is out there. Like, we're here, we exist, we're here and queer, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So I think just the exposure alone really helps, and just being a support for everybody in that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is an interesting line to discern the difference between we are a group that stands for something and we are just human beings seeking community, seeking safety and understanding. A lot of people are struggling to understand the difference with that.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are pushing against that in a great, great way. And I want to bring it back very quickly to Stop the Hate. Can you tell us anything more about that you'd like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So my part of Stop the Hate, I'm going to be going around teaching wellness groups, starting with wellness journaling. I'm going to be going to different drop-in centers. The drop-in centers serve to help both youth who are underage, about 14 to 17 to 18 to 24. So basically all young adults, young kids, and teaching them how to take care of themselves, especially under the light of being a victim of hate crime. So not only are we offering therapy and resources, but we're also connecting with them one-on-one and teaching them skills of how to cope with these things in their day-to-day life, something that they could do for themselves. And
Absolutely.
I think that's a really important component of it,
Yes.
because we want to give them those tools.
Yeah, certainly. Youth outreach is always going to be useful. And I mean, like I've been saying this whole time, it's great stuff that you guys are finding individuals who need that sense of community and identity. They don't need to make a statement. They don't need power. They have no goals in mind other than to live happily and unbothered. And it's difficult, I know, to see that every day humans struggling to live, just live. And I really do think it's the fortitude of those who can withstand some of those more difficult stories is really amazing. And I think that is fantastic. So, I mean, do you have any other comments or things that you want to leave us off with regarding Welcome Home, regarding Stop the Hate? Are there details that you want to be spoken that should not be unspoken?
Right. So I just want everyone to know that if you or anyone else is homeless or ever being homeless in the community, you have support. There are people out there to help support you. And even if you're not in the LGBT community, we have several resources under the bracket of a family assist program. So we have a house for domestic violence. We have a house for human trafficking. We have several youth shelters for runaway and CFS youth. And there are people out here just making a difference, connecting with people to stop the cycle of homelessness, essentially. And for Welcome Home, it's ages 18 through 24, part of the LGBT community. That is the only prerequisite to be a part of our program.
We're all about out of time here today, but I would like to thank you so much for coming out.
Of course.
It's been lovely having you. Everything you've provided to us and everything you've told us about has been so inspiring and so hopeful during our holiday season. Do you have plugs, phone number, or I'm sure we have in the description, we will have links to Stop the Hate and to Welcome Home.
Yes.
Is there anything else, any other contact numbers that you would recommend or that you would like people to reach out to directly if they would like to support Welcome Home and Stop the Hate?
Absolutely. So I don't have any numbers on hand, but you can go to familyassistanceprogram.org and see all of the different shelters that we have. Welcome Home is definitely going to be on there. Each program has their own webpage where it's going to have all the information that you need.
Well, you heard that, folks. So check the description. Check those websites out, call the number, and thank you so much for joining us today on Ignited Eagle.